thousands of ordinary SpaceX employees walked into work as engineers, welders, and technicians, then quietly became millionaires. As SpaceX's valuation soared to nearly $2 trillion, years of employee ownership turned into life-changing wealth. How did one company create thousands of millionaires? Here's the extraordinary story behind it. On June 12th, SpaceX reached a milestone many once believed impossible, a public valuation approaching $2 trillion. Investors rushed in as the company made its historic stock market debut, driving shares sharply higher within hours. The stock climbed rapidly from its $135 IPO price to more than $200. For thousands of employees, years of accumulated stock suddenly became life-changing wealth. Elon Musk had long believed that every employee should share in the company's success through ownership. Instead of limiting stock to executives, SpaceX distributed equity across much of its workforce over many years. Engineers weren't the only beneficiaries. Welders, machinists, technicians, inspectors, production workers, and support staff also received company shares as part of their compensation. At the time, many of those grants appeared modest and carried no guarantee of future value. Most employees focused on building rockets, solving engineering challenges, and meeting ambitious launch schedules, not calculating what their stock might someday be worth. But as reusable rockets transformed the launch industry and Starlink expanded around the world, SpaceX's valuation continued climbing. Every successful mission strengthened investor confidence and quietly increased the value of employee ownership. Year after year, those small stock grants compounded into extraordinary fortunes. By IPO day, hidden wealth existed throughout factories, laboratories, launch facilities, and offices across the company. Analysts estimated that roughly 4,400 employees became paper millionaires after the public listing. Some long-serving employees who had accumulated equity for more than a decade were even believed to hold fortunes worth tens or in some cases, hundreds of millions of dollars. It became one of the broadest examples of employee wealth creation ever seen in the technology industry. But one important question remains. How did ordinary workers receive so much stock in the first place? That's where the real story begins. These fortunes weren't created in a single day. They were built through years of patience, performance, and persistence. Many employees received stock options soon after joining SpaceX, giving them ownership from the very beginning of their careers. Instead of offering only higher salaries, the company encouraged employees to share in its long-term success. Strong performance often brought additional stock during annual reviews, allowing ownership to grow steadily over time. Promotions frequently came with larger equity grants, rewarding employees who accepted greater responsibility and leadership. Each grant seemed relatively small on its own, but together they quietly compounded into remarkably valuable ownership stakes. Employees who stayed for 5, 10, or even 15 years often accumulated far more equity than those who left earlier. Former employees have described stock options as a regular part of compensation throughout many stages of employment. Ownership wasn't limited to executives or engineers. It extended to technicians, machinists, inspectors, production workers, software developers, and countless other employees helping build the company. As SpaceX expanded, those modest ownership stakes grew alongside one of the fastest-growing aerospace businesses in modern history. Even before the IPO, employees could occasionally sell limited portions of their shares through private liquidity events organized by the company. These opportunities reportedly occurred about twice a year, allowing workers to access some of their growing equity while continuing to hold the rest. Still, many employees chose not to sell, believing the company's biggest achievements and its greatest value still lay ahead. Every successful launch, every new customer, and every technological breakthrough strengthened both the business and employee ownership. By the time SpaceX reached the public market, years of patience had transformed ordinary stock grants into extraordinary fortunes. For many employees, retirement plans had quietly become life-changing wealth. The bigger question was no longer whether employees had become wealthy. It was just how many hidden millionaires SpaceX had actually created. One millionaire is impressive. Thousands of new millionaires is something the business world rarely witnesses. Before SpaceX's historic IPO, market analyst Andrew Benson attempted to estimate how many employees could suddenly cross the $1 million mark. His analysis suggested that approximately 4,400 employees became paper millionaires after the public listing. That's enough millionaires to fill an entire small town, all created by the success of a single company. But millionaires weren't the only surprise. Some longtime employees reportedly reached an entirely different level of wealth. Analysts estimated that more than 400 employees may have accumulated fortunes exceeding $100 million through years of equity ownership. Very few companies in history have ever created so many extraordinarily wealthy employees at the same time. The exact numbers remain unknown because employee ownership records are private and continue changing as shares vest, or sold, or transferred. Financial analysts rely on public disclosures, company valuations, and equity models to estimate the scale of employee wealth. Different studies produce slightly different figures, but many reached remarkably similar conclusions. Of course, not everyone became a millionaire. The timing of when someone joined the company, how long they stayed, and how much stock they accumulated made an enormous difference. Employees who joined during SpaceX's earliest years had far more time for their ownership stakes to appreciate. Years spent designing rockets, building spacecraft, manufacturing engines, and supporting launches gradually translated into extraordinary financial rewards. Their wealth wasn't created overnight. It reflected years of commitment, innovation, and belief in a company pursuing goals many once considered impossible. Elon Musk has repeatedly argued that employees should directly share in the value they help create. For thousands of workers, that philosophy transformed ordinary careers into life-changing financial success. But becoming wealthy also created an entirely new challenge. How do you manage a fortune that grew far beyond anything you ever expected? Seeing a seven-figure portfolio doesn't automatically mean millions of dollars suddenly appear in your bank account. For many SpaceX employees, most of that wealth existed as company stock rather than cash they could immediately spend. The value of those shares continued changing with the market, rising or falling as investors reacted to new developments. Many employees chose to keep holding significant portions of their stock, believing SpaceX's biggest opportunities still lay ahead. Experienced long-term investors often pay less attention to daily price swings and focus instead on where a company could be years from now. That mindset had already rewarded many early SpaceX employees beyond anything they once imagined. SpaceX President Gwynne Shotwell demonstrated another way ownership can create lasting impact. Reports indicate that she and her husband donated roughly $300 million worth of company stock to support charitable causes. The donation was intended to expand financial opportunities for eligible children through a long-term government savings initiative. It showed that employee ownership can influence far more than personal wealth. It can support families, education, philanthropy, and future generations. For many employees, financial freedom created choices they had never imagined when they first joined the company. Some paid off debt. Others bought homes, invested for retirement, or planned for their children's education. Yet many continued showing up to work every day because the mission remained just as meaningful as the money. Their greatest reward wasn't simply becoming wealthy. It was helping build reusable rockets, expanding global communications through Starlink, and contributing to technologies that could reshape humanity's future. Because for SpaceX, the ultimate goal has never been creating millionaires. It has always been making life multiplanetary. The IPO created extraordinary fortunes, but the company believes its greatest achievements may still lie ahead far beyond Earth's atmosphere. For SpaceX, becoming a $2 trillion company was never meant to be the final destination. Financial success was always viewed as a tool, not the mission itself. The company's larger goal reaches far beyond stock prices, valuations, or market headlines. Elon Musk has often described a future where science fiction becomes everyday reality. His vision is to help humanity become a multi-planetary civilization, reducing the risks of relying on a single world for our future. The next major milestone is the moon. Within the coming decade, SpaceX hopes to help establish a permanent human presence there. Instead of short missions lasting only a few days, the long-term vision imagines a functioning settlement supporting continuous scientific research, industry, and human activity beyond Earth. Making that possible depends largely on Starship, the biggest and most ambitious rocket the company has ever developed. Designed to carry enormous amounts of cargo, Starship could transport habitats, heavy equipment, life support systems, vehicles, and supplies needed to build the first permanent lunar outposts. Each successful mission would add another piece of infrastructure. One landing becomes several. A small research base gradually grows into a thriving settlement capable of supporting larger crews and increasingly complex operations. But even the moon is only another step. The ultimate destination remains Mars. SpaceX hopes to establish a self-sustaining human settlement that can eventually grow without constant support from Earth. Musk has suggested that the first crewed missions could happen within the coming years if development continues successfully, with much larger populations following over time. Every rocket launched today, every engine tested, and every bolt tightened by SpaceX employees contributes to that extraordinary vision. For many of them, financial success arrived because they believed in something much larger than themselves. And if even part of that vision becomes reality, today's employee fortunes may be remembered as only the first chapter in humanity's greatest journey beyond Earth. The remarkable wealth created at SpaceX wasn't an accident. It reflected a philosophy that encouraged employees to become owners, not just workers. From the company's earliest years, long-term ownership became part of the culture that helped shape its success. Elon Musk has repeatedly said that employees should share in the value they help create. Instead of rewarding only founders and executives, SpaceX offered equity to people across the organization. That meant engineers, technicians, welders, machinists, software developers, and many other employees all had the opportunity to benefit if the company succeeded. When employees become owners, every engineering breakthrough carries greater meaning. Every successful launch, every satellite placed into orbit, and every commercial contract strengthens both the business and the value of employee ownership. Success becomes something shared across the entire company. Building revolutionary technology takes patience. Major breakthroughs rarely happen overnight, and neither does long-term wealth. Traditional salaries reward today's work, but equity has the potential to reward years of value created far into the future. Even relatively small ownership stakes can become surprisingly valuable when an extraordinary company continues growing over decades. One of the most remarkable outcomes was how broadly that opportunity reached. From the outside, many employees appeared completely ordinary. Behind the scenes, some were quietly building financial futures that few could have imagined years earlier. The public offering didn't simply reward investors. It also recognized the dedication of thousands of people who spent years solving difficult engineering problems and helping turn ambitious ideas into reality. Today, many business leaders continue discussing whether broader employee ownership could become a model for future innovation companies. The idea is simple. When the people building a company also share in its success, everyone has a stronger reason to think long-term and solve bigger problems. Perhaps that's the greatest lesson of SpaceX. The lasting legacy isn't only the fortunes that were created, it's the reminder that patience, ownership, and bold ideas can transform ordinary careers into extraordinary success stories and inspire the next generation to build what once seemed impossible. In the end, this story isn't simply about becoming rich. It's about building something that changed industries, created opportunity, and transformed countless lives along the way. Some parts of this story are publicly confirmed. Others are based on financial analysis, reported estimates, and information that has become available over time. Because SpaceX remained private for many years, the company has never officially released the exact number of employees whose equity exceeded $1 million after its public offering. Even so, independent analysts estimated that roughly 4,400 employees reached millionaire status through company ownership. What makes that number remarkable is who those people were. Many weren't executives or celebrities. They were engineers, welders, technicians, machinists, software developers, factory workers, and countless others solving difficult problems every single day. From the beginning, Elon Musk repeatedly argued that the people helping build the company should also share in its success. Employee ownership became a core part of that philosophy. Those fortunes didn't appear overnight. They reflected years of patience, persistence, and belief in an ambitious long-term mission. Every engineering breakthrough increased the company's value. Every successful launch strengthened investor confidence. Every new customer expanded the business. As SpaceX grew, employees who held equity quietly grew wealthier alongside the company. This success may influence how other technology companies reward the people creating long-term value. Broad ownership can align employees with a company's future while giving ordinary workers the opportunity to benefit from extraordinary innovation. For many employees, however, the greatest reward was never just financial. It was contributing to a mission designed to push humanity beyond Earth and make what once seemed impossible become reality. SpaceX's greatest legacy may not simply be creating thousands of millionaires. It may be proving that bold ideas, shared ownership, and long-term commitment can change industries and transform ordinary lives in extraordinary ways. History may remember SpaceX's IPO as a financial milestone, but for the company itself, the biggest achievements may still lie ahead. The public offering marked the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. Elon Musk continues speaking about a future where humanity becomes a multi-planetary civilization. The rockets being designed today are intended not only to launch satellites, but also to carry future generations farther than anyone has traveled before. Behind every successful mission stood thousands of ordinary people. Engineers, welders, technicians, software developers, factory workers, and support teams all contributed to something much larger than themselves. Each person added one small piece to a company that eventually became one of the most valuable technology businesses in history. For many of those employees, patience became the greatest investment they ever made. Years of hard work, persistence, and long-term commitment quietly transformed modest stock grants into extraordinary financial opportunities. Their success was never created overnight. It was earned through thousands of ordinary workdays repeated over many years. While the exact wealth of individual employees remains private, public information and independent estimates suggest one of the largest employee wealth creation events ever seen in the technology industry. Innovation created value, and employee ownership allowed thousands of people to share in that success. If SpaceX continues achieving its long-term ambitions, today's fortunes may represent only the beginning of an even greater story. The company's ultimate goal has never been creating millionaires. It has always been expanding humanity's future beyond Earth. This journey reminds us that the greatest success stories often begin with ordinary people choosing to solve difficult problems together. Money may have captured the headlines, but exploration, innovation, and ownership remain the forces driving everything forward. The greatest fortunes are often built by people who dedicate years to creating something larger than themselves. SpaceX's IPO created remarkable wealth, but its greatest legacy may be inspiring future generations to build what once seemed impossible.